Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Jose El Rayo Valenzuela. And right off the bat, guys, I know this is going to piss a lot of people off because I did check social media, I read some comments, and people seem to think that this was a close fight. But I personally, I thought Pitbull got dominated, just flat out. I thought he got thoroughly outboxed by Valenzuela. The way I scored it, I believe I only gave rounds 2 and 12 to Pitbull. The rest was El Rayo's. Yes, there may have been a couple rounds that was a little bit more competitive where Pitbull had an argument to win the round, but I just thought that all in all, he just didn't do enough to win those rounds. Jose did a phenomenal job boxing. The thing with Pitbull is the blueprint to beat him is simple. It's already out there. Yes, he hasn't been quote-unquote convincingly beat yet by anybody, even though I really thought that Tank convincingly beat him. If you watch boxing, you know what to do against a fighter like Pitbull. You gotta keep your distance, maintain that distance, keep him outside of range, and then circle out if he does manage to cut the distance and get in range. Obviously, that's a lot easier, much easier said than done, but nevertheless, that is the blueprint to beat someone like Pitbull. With that being said, Jose executed the game plan to a T. He had a very, very, very good lead hand. His jab was diverse, it was educated, and it was snappy. And his lead hook was very powerful. He used it to counter as Pitbull was lunging in, or he used it as a check hook to circle out. His backhand was so accurate, so powerful. That straight left down the middle and the uppercut down the middle, those were some dangerous punches. And that let Pitbull know that if you slip up, if your guard isn't tight, you are in trouble. And Jose's footwork, that was incredible as well. He was always on balance to throw a counter or to pivot or circle out and reset positioning. His IQ was very high this fight. He was disciplined. He stuck to game plan. He didn't fall for Pitbull's tricks and traps. And yeah, man, just, the discipline was awesome. It was great. He was very disciplined. He stayed home. He didn't go after Pitbull when he didn't need to. And yeah, just followed the game plan and listened to his coaches. Defensively, a wonderful job by Jose as well. His punch anticipation was elite. His reaction was elite. He knew what punches Pitbull was going to throw. He knew when to stay in the pocket and trade. He knew when to circle out. He knew when to slip and use head movement. He knew when to use a shoulder roll. He knew when to use the high guard. He was just way too locked in, He knew everything that Pitbull was going to do. He definitely did his homework. Let's talk about that third round, because from my vantage point, that's where I really thought that El Rayo fully took over. I thought that's when the momentum fully changed his way. And specifically when he landed an uppercut down the middle or a straight left down the middle. I forget which one landed first. I believe he landed both in this round. But, whichever came first definitely sent a message to Pitbull that said, if your defense isn't tight, if you ain't on your P's and Q's, you're going to get hurt. I thought from round 3 until about round 11, Jose was in complete control. He was in the zone. He was just flowing. You know what I mean? He knew exactly what to do, and he was always a step ahead of Pitbull. He was just outboxing him, plain and simple. But let's switch over to Pitbull, and I don't really know what to say really about Pitbull, because if I'm being honest, I like Pitbull. He's very entertaining, right? And he's a good fighter, world class even. But I don't know, I just really thought that his time was eventually gonna come. That clock was ticking. Why? Because he's a one-dimensional fighter, and people are gonna hate and people are gonna moan that I said that, but it's true. I mean, it's pretty clear to me that he fights in one way, in one style, and you know what, that's okay, because he's one hell of a fighter despite that. But that doesn't change the fact that he has one style, and he is physically limited in these weight classes. He's short and his arms are short, and he's always gonna struggle against a master boxer. I'm not calling El Rayo a master boxer, but if Pitbull went against someone like Shakur or Tio or maybe Devin even, he was always gonna get exposed. it just is what it is. He's too one-dimensional for those fighters, and he lacks the ability to adjust, and it showed here because he kept on trying the same thing over and over and over in this fight, and he just couldn't adjust. I mean, credit to him, he didn't give up. He tried. He was zagging with his footwork. He was lunging in. He was taking risks, right? But that doesn't change the fact that he was still coming forward, and El Rayo knew what he was gonna do next. The one thing that really bothered me about his performance was at the end of round 11, he found success with the straight right hand. And you know what? Even throughout the whole fight, he would land that straight right hand every once in a while, but he never went back to it. He would just use it periodically. He kept going back to his lunging hooks and all that, like looping shots. But that straight right hand over the top was finding the mark the whole fight, right? And he found it in round 11, and it finally switched. He finally realized, oh wait, the straight right hand is fucking landing. And so what did he do in round 12? He kept on using it, and it kept on landing. So if he just had a little bit higher of an IQ in there, if his coach even realized what was going on, maybe he could have knocked El Rayo out, right? But he didn't. His IQ just isn't where you want it to be. So he definitely has some work to do, and that's okay. Nobody's calling him a finished product, and you know what? I think he's gonna learn a lot from this. I think he's gonna improve a lot from this, and that's what you want, right? You want your L's to be learning experiences, and you wanna adjust and improve to be better from them. But yeah, I thought he only really convincingly won 2 rounds, and like I said, there are a couple of rounds in there that were a little closer, were a little more competitive, where Pitbull did manage to cut the distance and would let his hands go, right? He would unload everything on El Rayo because he knew this was his opportunity. But guys, he smothered his own shots. Nothing really clean landed in most of those instances. And then, maybe 5 seconds after, El Rayo would just circle out. He would remember, hey, I can use my legs. I'm going to get out of here. And that's exactly what he did. And then it's a reset again. Pitbull would just chase him, and El Rayo would just pot shot every once in a while, throw in a power shot in there, and circle out, and rinse and repeat. That was the fight, guys. That was the fight. I know I'm going to get some hate because of what I said here, but understand, I'm not hating on Pitbull. I don't care to hate on these fighters, man. I'm watching boxing because it's a great sport. I don't care about these fighters like that. Like, why would I hate on Pitbull, bro? This guy's a boxer. This guy's a millionaire. He's very successful at his sport. He's one of the best at his sport. Why the hell would I hate? And to be frank, I don't even know too much about Jose Valenzuela going into this fight. I didn't do my research on him. I only watched that Colbert fights, those 2 fights. But that's it. I'm not a fan of him. I have no reason to hate on Pitbull, guys. But, it is what it is. Y'all will think what you want to think. And that's all I really got to say about this fight. Once again, shouts out to Jose Valenzuela. Phenomenal job against Pitbull. And Pitbull, you got some work to do. That's all it is. You got some work to do. And that's cool. But that's it for me, guys. Tell me what you think of the fight. Tell me how you scored it. And for those who actually thought that Pitbull won, please tell me, how. Tell me how he won at least 7 rounds in that fight. But yeah, like I said, that's it for me. Please leave a like and subscribe, guys. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. Thank you. Oh, and a couple more things that I forgot to mention in the video is that these guys' conditioning and chins is next level, man. These guys can really take a whack, and they did from each other, and they just kept on going. So shouts out to these guys. All credit to them. It was a good fight. And yeah, thank you.